Wow, good day, students. It's been a great and a wonderful day for us on this virtual platform. Today, we have a subject in mathematics, and our topic for today is statistics. And our subtopic for today is measures of central tendency. Measures of central tendency. Good. Now, I want you to um, take note of the statistical topics that we are going through. I believe and I hope you are revising every detailed notes that we have been giving you. Once again, we thank the Almighty God for grace, for His love, for His mercies upon our lives. We thank Him so much for everything that He has been doing for us. We give praise to His name. Now I want you to sit close to your device as I take you through this topic in statistics, that is measures of central tendency. Good. Alright, now when we talk about the measures of the central tendency, how do you understand it? On the screen, it reads, a measure of central tendency is a summary. Okay, it's a summary statistic that represents the center point or typical value of a data set. Now, let's throw more light on the first sentence that I just read. In statistics, when we say measures of central tendency, they are the averages of the frequency distribution. I repeat, in statistics, when we talk about the measures of the central tendency, they become the average of the frequency distribution. And the measures of the central tendency that we have in statistics are the mean, the median, and mode. I repeat, the three most common measures, okay, they are common, correct? The three most common measures of central tendency are the mean, the median, and the mode. That tells you that the measures of the central tendency are not only three. There are a lot of them. But to your limits, is that okay? To your standard, we are focusing and concentrating on these three main important measures of the central tendency. Good. Alright, now let's look at the first one, okay? The first measure of the central tendency as far as statistics is concerned. So we have the mean of a set of numbers. How do you define mean of a set of numbers? It reads, the mean of a set of numbers is the average of the set of numbers. I repeat, when we talk about the mean of a set of numbers, it is the average of the set of numbers. In other words, it is the sum divided by the count. Hello? I repeat it again. It is the sum, okay, divided by the count, okay, and it is denoted by the symbol as it has been displayed over there. It is denoted by this symbol. Correct? Mathematically, mean equals sum of all data points dividing number of data points. So the sum divided by the count. Now, the count that we are talking about is the number of elements given in that particular data set. Correct? An example, if I have 1, 2, 3, okay, the sum of this will be 6. Correct? The sum of this will be 6. That is 1 plus 2 plus 3. That will give us 6 divided by the count. Now the count is 1, 2, 3. So that is the number of elements in that particular data set. Hello? I hope you are following as well. Good. So it will be 6 out of 3. So 3 dividing 6. That will give us what? 2. That is how to find the mean, the average of a set of numbers, the mean of a set of numbers. So the sum divided by the count. Good. Now let's move on and see what we have in our next slide. Okay. I hope you are also getting your notes down. All right. Now, how do we solve this question? That is worked example 1. Okay. How do we solve this question? Find the mean of the following set of numbers. Find the mean of the following set of numbers. I am going to solve this work with you. And at the end of the day, okay, we should be able to answer our evaluation question. Correct? Good. Now, in I, we have 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4. I repeat, we have 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4. Now the second one, we have 3, 9, 11, 28, 37, and 20. And the last one, we have 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 8, 8, and 9. So, take your book and your pen as we go through this exercise. Good. Now, the sum. The first one that you were given in I. Okay. The elements are 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4. Is that okay? How do we find the mean? The sum divided by the count. So, first of all, let's look at the count. Okay, the count is denoted by n. I repeat, the count is denoted by n. So, we have to find n. Correct? So, what is the value of n? So, let's count. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. All right. So our n equals to 6. Good. So let's find the sum of this data set. So the sum will be 0 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 4. Now, when we add all these numbers together, we will get 18. How do we find the mean? Mathematically, mean denoted by the x bar is equal to the summation of x over n, where n represents the number of elements given. So our summation will be 18, okay, out of 6. And when you simplify this, 6 goes here 1, it goes here 3. So our mean value for the first one will give us 3. That becomes our mean value for the first data set. Good. Now let's look at the second example that was given and how we'll be able to come out with the answer. Good. Alright, now let's see how we'll be able to solve this second question. Okay, as we saw it in the first one, how we came out with the answer. So it's a preamble for all. Okay, we have to find the mean of a set of data. So we are still doing mean of what? Set of numbers. Mean of set of numbers. So the second one, which is II, the elements are 3, 9, 11, 28, 37, and 20. Is that okay? We still need to find the value of n. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So over here, our n equals to 6. Hence, mean of x equals the summation of x out of n. Correct? And when you put these numbers together, okay, we are going to get 108. Okay, so let's see. That will be 3 plus 9 plus 11 plus 28 plus 37 plus 20. Now in all, okay, we will get 108. So we can say that our summation of x equals to 108. Hence, mean equals to 108 out of 6. And when you simplify this, 6 goes here 1, it goes here 18. So our mean for the second data set is what? 18. Hello. Do you understand it? Alright. So let's take the last question and see the answer that we are going to get for the mean of set of numbers. Good. Alright, now let's look at how we'll be able to solve the third question. That is III. Okay, the III. So the elements are 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 8, 8, 9. Now let's count them. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the value of n will give us 8. Now let's find the summation of the elements that has been given to us. And that will give us 3 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 5 plus 8 plus 8 plus 9. When you put everything together, you will get 45. Hence, mean of x, that will give us 45 out of 8. Is that okay? Good. Now we can change this one to mixed fraction. Is that okay? So if you do that, you are going to get 5 whole number, 5 out of 8. Changing this one to decimal fraction becomes 5.6 to 5. By using the long division, this is the answer that you will get. Good. So we now know how to find the mean of a set of numbers. And when a question is being asked, I believe and I hope you'll be able to solve that particular question using the same process that we use to solve what you have on the screen. Good. Now let's continue. Good. Now we have a word problem. And this word problem, we have two approaches. Okay. Now let's see how we can use this approach to come out with the answer to this question. Okay. And it reads, the average of 5 numbers. Now the average over there talks about the mean. So we can change the question and make it the mean. The mean of 5 numbers. Okay, the mean of 5 numbers, 4, 10, 24, x, and 16, okay, is 13. How do we find the value of x? So we have to find the missing value of x as compared to the previous questions that were given. Is that okay? All right. Now, the first approach is what I'm about to show you. What you have to do is to find average of 5 numbers. Okay, average of 5 numbers. So average of 5 numbers. That will give us 5 times 13. And the answer will give us 65. Is that okay? The answer will give us 65. Now, what you have to do is to add all the data points together and equate it to what? 65. You will get the value of the mean. So, sum of all the numbers will give us 4 plus 10 plus 24 plus x plus 16. And all should be equated to what? 65. Okay? So when you add all these numbers together, you get 54 plus x equals to 65. Correct? Now, it is very simple over here. What you have to do is to group like terms. So we are saying that x will be equal to 65 minus 54. And when you simplify this, you get x equals to 11. So the value of x rather is what? 11. That becomes the missing value. Good. Now let's move on and see how we can use the second method to solve this question. Good. Now how do we solve this? We said that mean of x equals to the summation of x out of n. Correct? Now, our n is what? 5. Our summation will give us 4 plus 10, 24 plus x plus 16. Now, when you put everything together, you get 54 plus x. So, what we are going to do is what? Substitution. Okay, so we are going to put all the values, okay, in the formula. Correct? Now, our mean is 13. So, it's going to be 13 equals to 54 plus x all over 5. Correct? Now, we can do cross multiplication. So, the 13 will multiply the 5, and then the 1 will multiply the 54 plus x. So when 1 multiplies 54 plus x, you get 54 plus x equals 13 times 5. Okay, now when you simplify everything, you get 54 plus x equals to 65, just like the first one that we did. Is that okay? Good. Now let's move on. So what we have to do is to group like terms. So x will be equal to 65 minus 54, and when you simplify this, you get x equals to 11. So using the first approach and coming out with the second approach, you will see that all the answers will be the same. There are so many ways that we can use to kill a cat. Don't forget that. Is that okay? So what I want you to do is to go through over and over till you get the understanding, then you come out with the formula that will suit your interest. I always encourage students, and I am encouraging you through this virtual platform, to use the two formulas in your workings. Is that okay? Good. Let's move on. Alright, now our third example, still on the mean. Is that okay? And it reads, the average age of a class of 20 students is 15 years. The average age of a class of 20 students is 15 years. And the average age of another class of 30 students is 20 years. I repeat, the average age of a class of 20 students is 15 years, and the average age of another class of 30 students is 20 years. Find the average age of the two classes. Find the average age of the two classes. This question is very simple. Is that okay? So let's start and see what we will come out with. Is that okay? Now, whenever you get a question like this, don't panic. Read the question over and over again, and then put everything that you have learned into practice. You get understanding. Now let's solve it together. Okay, so what you are going to do is to find the average age of 20 students in that first class. So sum of 20 students in the first class will give us 20 times 15. Now, when you multiply this, you get 300 years. Good. Now, what you have to do is to find the sum of ages, okay? The sum of age of 30 students. That will give us 30 times 20. That will give us 600. Alright, let's continue. Good. Now, with the second method, okay, what we have to do is to find sum of the ages of 20 students in a class. That will give us 20 by 15, and the answer will give us 300. 2. We have to find sum of the ages of 30 students, and that will give us 30 times 20. The answer will give us 600. Now, after this, we find the total age. Total age, or sum of the age, okay, of the two classes, correct? And that will give us, so you have the 600 years, we have the 300 years, okay? So total age will give us 600 plus 300, and that will give us 900. Now, what you have to do is to find the total number of students in a class. Is that okay? So the first one, or the first class, we are having 20 students, and the second class we are having 30 students. So total students of the two classes will give us 20 plus 30, and our answer will give us 50. Now, we need to get the average age of the class, okay? So, average age, and that will give us the total age, okay, divided by the total number of students in a class. So that will give us 900 out of 50. So 50 dividing 900 is very simple. We just cancel these two zeros. Now you'll be left with 90 out of 5. So 5 goes here, 1, it goes here, 18. So our final answer will give us 18 years. Good. I believe and I hope you have gotten the understanding to this question. Okay, let's compare this one to the first one. Okay, there is a slight difference. Is that okay? But they are all giving us the same answer. Good. Now let's continue with the next question that we have in our slide. Alright, now this one becomes a subtopic of the mean, okay? And we want to look at how we can calculate a mean, or the mean from a frequency distribution table. In a workshop, the times taken by 20 trainees to identify a fault in a machine are shown in the table below. Find the mean. How do we find the mean? Now we have the number of minutes, okay? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. These are the number of minutes. Then the number of trainees that we have 2, 5, 3, 2, 4, 3, 1. Okay, each of the trainees, okay, is being assigned to a particular minute. Do you understand it? Now let's see how we can use the frequency distribution table to calculate for mean of data. Is that okay? Good. Good. Now, using a frequency distribution table, mean of x equals summation of f of x over the summation of f. Correct? Now, what you are going to do is to use x to represent the number of minutes, and then the f to represent the number of trainees. Is that okay? So we have x, then we have the f, which represent the number of trainees, and then we have the f of x. Okay, so with the x, which represent the number of minutes, we are having 1, 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, then the frequency, we have 2, 5, okay, 3, 2, 4, 3, then 1. So to find f of x, we have to multiply the number of minutes represented by x and the number of trainees represented by f. So we multiply these two numbers together. So 1 times 2 will give us 2. So we have 2, 10, 9, 8, 20, 18, and 7. Okay, so from here we need to find summation of f, which is 20. It was given in the question. Then we also have summation of f of x. When you put all these elements together, you get 74. Is that okay? Now we need to calculate the mean. So our mean of x is the summation of f of x over the summation of f. So mean of x will give us 74 out of 20. Now we will cancel out. Is that okay? So 2 goes here, 10. 2 goes into this, 37. So you will have 37 out of 10. And when you simplify this, our final answer will give us 3.7. Good. So this is how to find the mean from a frequency distribution table. So when you compare the two, okay, they are not the same. How to find the mean of a set of numbers and how to find mean using a frequency distribution table, they are not the same. Good. Now let's continue with our next slide and see what we have. All right. Wow. So gradually we have come to the end of today's lesson. Now before we leave, let's take our evaluation question. The first question reads, the average of 6 numbers 2, 8, 9, x, 7, and 12 is 7. Find the value of x. Question 2. The following table shows the distribution of marks being marked out of 10, okay, scored by 30 students in a test. So we have the marks and then we have the frequency. We have to calculate for the mean. Good. I want you to go through this exercise and don't forget we will come out with our exams questions. So I want you to prepare very hard so that you'll be able to pass and pass very well. Good. Students, viewers, listeners, this is the end of today's lesson on calculation of mean. Okay, we learned how to calculate mean of a set of data, and we also learned how to calculate mean from a frequency distribution table. This becomes our main objective for today. So I believe and I hope at the end of today's lesson you have been able to come out with the processes, okay, the method, okay, used to find mean of a set of data and how to calculate mean from a frequency distribution table. Always remember, everything that you do, you have to define it by yourself. If it is good, you reap it, and if it is bad too, you are going to reap it. That means that everything that you sow, you will reap. Please take your study serious once again, and until we meet again, it's goodbye for now. God bless you all.